Hello and welcome back. Have you had a bit of sunshine? We've been sat outside, we've loved it. Nearly didn't come back. We've been sat chatting in the sunshine. It's been bliss, absolutely bliss. What more could you want? A bit of crafting, a bit of sunshine, a bit more crafting. Sounds like a perfect day to me. Now I can already see there are so many. Wow, there are a lot of you here with us. I think you're all here to work out how it's our Craft Your Stash. Is it our last is there a Craft Your Stash tomorrow? Yes, there is. It's stamping, isn't it? So this is our penultimate Craft Your Stash, and it's all about the foil press. So we have all been giving up to this for the last 2 days, which is absolutely fantastic. You have been loving it. You've been tuning in your droves to watch this. Absolutely. But that's why I'm over this side. And over on the other side, we've got the foil press king, as our Lily called him. It's Craig. Good morning.
Good, well, morning, afternoon to you.
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah. Having a powwow outside here while having our lunch, getting ready to go for this show. This is it. This is the one that you're going to be waiting for. I've got loads of stuff already set out, loads of different techniques that I want to show you. Whether you're going to be purchasing the foil press stateside, that you've still got some left over, then you're going to be able to do all of this at home. Plus, you're going to be able to do a lot more. Whether you've already got the foil press, and this is what the Craft Your Stash is all about. It is all about just going back to crafting with your stash, whether of course it's the ink pads, the paper pads, the stamping with Debbie, or of course with the foil press. So if you're just tuning into these ones here, because we were talking about just beforehand, maybe you didn't realise how beneficial the Craft Your Stash shows were going to be. Maybe you've not started to tune in until later on in the week. Of course, you can always go back and watch them. But these shows, these aren't about selective products for you to get your hands on. What we've done is, for me anyway, with the foil press, open the doors to all of the foil press items that I've got. Many of you will have, but it's about the technique of what you're going to do. So you might not have the same foil press stamp as what I've got, but you'll be able to do what I do with maybe something else or a normal die. We're just going to cover loads and we're going to have fun.
Absolutely, it sounds perfect. So I'm just going to show you our Weekend Wonder, then we'll say hello to everybody that's here. So this is our Weekend Wonder. It launched at 11 o'clock this morning. It is a US exclusive. They have managed to find a few of our glitter paste in that US warehouse tucked away. There are very few. There's only a handful. So if you want these, instead of being over $80, it's coming to you today for $60. Your platinum price is $48. And you're going to get rose gold, starlight blue, jade river, regal purple, candlelight gold, peony bloom, copper beach, moonlight frost and silver moon. Now you're getting 50 ml of each of these. They are absolutely gorgeous. They're going to allow you to use your stencils, you can blend with them, you can do so many different techniques with these. They dry absolutely hard. It's permanent once they dry. White card, they look amazing on black card, don't they? On your acetate, it's on vellum inside there. Absolutely perfect. If you have ever thought about having some glitter paste, then make sure you pick these up. In the UK, they were gone on the day of launch, So yeah, these need to be really quick on those. So like I say, £48 is your platinum price, £60 is your today's price. So let's just quickly say hello to everybody. We've got Patsy from Colorado, good day to be crafting. Lisa Benson is in from Illinois. Heather McFarquhar is hi, all, hope you're all well. We are really good here. Lizzie Masters is from Somerset and really looking forward to this show. That's good. Robbie Hedrick says, hey, I'm back, loving these foil press shows. So are we. Renee says, I've only used my foil machine like one time, so saving these to watch. Please, Renee, once you've watch these shows, hopefully it's going to spark that little bit, whether you're using the foil stamps or your regular dies. It's going to give you that impetus to really get going. Where are we? There we go. Oh, it jumped. It does this when somebody comes on. Catherine says hello from Canada. Julie Foster says good afternoon from a sunny Bedlington. It's nice to actually have some sun. It certainly is. Bedlington. Oh, I'm being asked where it is. It's in the UK. I'm not sure where Bedlington is. Julie will have to tell us. Whereabouts in the UK are you? Oh, she'll have a look to see where we are. Laurie says, good morning from sunny Gilbert, Arizona, 6 a.m. here and still relaxing in bed. It's just down the road in Northumberland is Bedlington. There you go. Heather McFarquhar is lovely weather in Hull. Lynn Blackledge says, it's good afternoon from a very hot Isle of Wight. I bet it really is. Oh, that's a funny one. Olivia, I think it is, said there will be much to learn today. Ordered mine yesterday, can't wait to play. This is it. Learn all those techniques and then when it comes, you'll have those. I'll pass that one to Tim's got a problem with the lights near the gauge. So Tim, I would definitely say contact customer service. He just said his lights aren't working, so he probably just needs to contact customer service. They will be able to sort that one out, Tim. Joanne says, morning everyone, Foilpress is out and ready to learn with Craig. Love all his tips. He really is giving you lots of tips. Sarah Ibbotson says, good morning everyone from Arkansas. We've got Colleen. Oh, she's really excited for this show. And Jeffrey Langley, he says, he's just saying happy Saturday and hello to absolutely everyone. So there we go. Right now, over this week, we've been doing lots and lots of wonderful deals, and these two have been absolute top sellers throughout the week. Have you got your Gemini Pro? If you have, then obviously your consumables for that are your plates. So we're doing a lovely bundle. So what you're going to get, it's 7 items in it. You're going to get 2 of your clear cutting plates. No point having one. Make sure you get 2. We're going to give you your magnetic shim and your metal cutting plate and your plastic shim, all those that you just think over time they need replacing. We're going to give you your rubber embossing mat, and we're also going to give you the fantastic bag. When I say 12 by 12, if I put up like the plastic shim, because that's rigid, you can see there is, oh sorry, that was on my mic, sorry about that. That, you can see, we've got that room to spare. You're not having to force it in. It's 12 by 12 and a little bit more. I'd say it's probably about 13 inches by 13 inches, probably. Now, all of these should be $114, nearly $115, but we're going to give you them today for $50. Your today's price, $50, saving you look at that, $64.70. But even better than that is your platinum price at $40. Now, remember, these are US only deals. We found some stock of these in our US warehouse, so we're able to offer you them at amazing prices. Now, the great thing about the Gemini Pro is not only can you do your 12 by 12 plates, which are huge, you can also do your 12 by 18 plates. So these are just, it's like 2 of your regular Gemini plates stacked one on top of each other. There is something there, look, it just looks funny. So you're going to get 2 of your clear cutting plates in your 12 by 18. And remember, it'll just go straight through, just like your normal. You're going to get 1 of your magnetic shims. You're going to get your metal cutting plate. There we got that one. You're going to get your rubber embossing mat, which is there. You're going to get your plastic shim. And then we're going to give you, again, a storage bag to put everything in. Absolutely amazing. This is going to be brilliant for storing papers and cardstock in as well. The saving on this is even more phenomenal. You are saving just cents shy of $82. For all of that is $60. But your platinum price, which is the most important price, just down here, $48 for all of that. All 7 items. Yes, all 7 items. So they're not even, 7 sevens are 49, aren't they? So they're just shy of $7 per item, which for that huge plate is amazing. So there we go. So absolutely brilliant deals. Like I said, US only. We managed to find a bit of stock in that warehouse. So you'll get that. Who knows what's going to be on our website tomorrow, on Monday, when they reopen our UK website. All those things they found they didn't know they had. They're going to be some amazing deals. Right, okay, Craig, are you ready to go?
Contender ready!
You can tell where he's been this week.
You can tell I've been watching the Gladiators being filmed the other day. Can I just say, here in the UK, if you were a 90s fan of Gladiators, not the 2000 version on Sky 1, the original, the 90s one, you're going to absolutely love the revamped version that comes in the autumn time on BBC. It is epic, absolutely epic. So that's why I've just got like Gladiators as in TV show in my head. Right, so we're going to do one of my most favourite techniques when it comes to one of the backgrounds. You can do it with any of them, but this one, it works really well with the softly swirling background, which I think we've still got it in that bundle that we showed yesterday. So check out the USA page. What I'm also going to do is use a large platform as well. So we're going to use a platform to start with. I'm going to go back to my smaller one shortly because that's my preference. I like the smaller one. When it comes to the larger one, it's not that we do big foil press stamps to fit on that large platform, 9 by 12. It's all about being able to do different mediums at once. Now, I talked about just yesterday, I don't use mine a lot because I like to do one medium at a time. Even if I'm doing different layers of cardstock, I still prefer to do it one at a time. I feel as though I'm in more control personally. But if you have the larger one, or I know that you guys stateside can get this larger platform, you can absolutely do a number of foiling at once. So it's not about that there's bigger foil press stamps, it's about what the quantity you could do. Or think of it, it's the foil press version of the Pro. Think of it that way. So nothing changes. So I've just slipped it in like I would do with the heat plate that comes with it.
So the connection is exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
It's just that your plates are going to just overhang your original base a little bit more. Wow, it does look a lot bigger when you put that side by side, doesn't it?
So at the time...
Does it take a lot longer then for that initial heat up?
So, forgive me, that initial heat up, not much longer, but just a little bit, because obviously it's got a bigger circumference to heat up. But when it comes to times, temperatures, etc., I just use them exactly the same. So what we're just going to do, I've just plugged that in there, and it's gone into red just to let me know that it's just heating up. It will bleep in a minute to see when it's ready.
Okay, I've got two questions for you then while we're doing that. First question is, does the foil press only work with the Gemini machine?
Yes,
okay,
it does.
That was a nice, easy question.
The mouth, as well as the plate, works with the Gemini.
Excellent, brilliant. And the other one was, is there any way to use it with your Gemini Pro?
No, because...
Quick answers, yes, no, end of.
Simply because, think of the sensors. So your Pro is our white Gemini, so the sensors are at the left and the right. We don't have a big enough plate for that to activate the sensors, and we don't have a bigger, even bigger extender plate for that to work. So this works directly into your A4 original Gemini without an extender plate, because you get a large foil press plate with it. Or of course now, with having the Gemini 2, you can still use it straight in with the Gemini 2 straight away. But you can't use it with the Pro because it's not wide enough to connect the sensors.
Right, so basically your sensors wouldn't recognise that it was there?
No, it wouldn't.
Perfect, thank you.
So I'm just going to put this in as I would do normally, and I'm at 45 seconds for my largest one, and then we're going to do the start button. Now this involves foiling twice, because what I want is I want a positive and I want the waste. Because I'm going to do a little bit of a drop shadow. It looks epic. So to start with, I'm starting off with cardstock. We will do different mediums very, very shortly. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one onto white card and one onto black card, so you can see two colours on two cards. And then I'm going to pick one to overlap. Doesn't make sense, but it will do when I show you in a moment. So I'm going to go for silver spangle, and that's also going with turquoise, because I love the look of the silver spangle as well as the turquoise together.
There were some of our foils available yesterday.
There was,
Only one was officially sold out, so I'm guessing there will be more. So all I would say is, in the US, please go and have a look on the website, see if you can spot any with those lovely orange stickers, and then you can pick them up. But there were definitely some bundles of foils, and I've not got any under here, but there were definitely some yesterday, so hopefully there's still some available.
I could have swore that I'd already cut my piece of foil to size.
It's probably just on your desk somewhere.
Probably it is, yeah. Right, so we're just sliding that out, and then with the Gemini 2, because it's going to fit that full mouth of the Gemini 2, you don't need to do anything different because it's still that optical sensor. But if this was the white one, then again, you still wouldn't need to do anything different, because you've got that wide, or you've got that width of your actual plate. So we're just going to take that one off. And then I am just going to put it straight in because I'm going to use it again. And as you can see, the temperature has dipped. So therefore it's gone red. So I just need to let that go green.
Well, it takes that a few seconds longer to go through your machine, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it? So that's onto white cardstock, and that's the silver spangle.
Do you know, I think the Gemini 2 is brilliant for the foil press because it's 20% faster.
Exactly.
So your plate, so when it goes through, your plates are still that little bit warmer, aren't they?
They are, yeah. And I never thought of that.
To cool down.
And that's a good point. That's a really good point. Because it is. So we're just letting that come to temperature again. So what I've then done is I'm going to get black cardstock and I'm going to use the turquoise for this one.
Oh, wow.
And then what we're going to do is we're going to go back to what I've just foiled there. So just let that just come at temperature again. May take that few extra seconds because remember, it's not just that actual plate that you're wanting. Well, it is the plate that you're wanting to foil, but it still heats up that full platform. So it takes a few extra seconds, but we're done. So we're going to go shiny side down once again. And then we can then go in with our cardstock, our black card. And we're going to put our top plate. We're just going to slide it out.
You haven't warmed it up, you haven't put it on.
Did I not do the countdown?
No, you missed it. You were waiting for the platform to warm up.
That's what I was doing.
Sorry, I didn't know whether to say.
No, do it.
You never press the timer.
I get carried. See, for me, with that beep, I just thought it was beeping that it was ready.
No.
Now, the temperature was ready. I just hadn't done the countdown. So, no, if you see me do anything like that, you call me out on it because it wouldn't have worked. Or, you know, you would have got some foil in, but because it hadn't been on that full amount of heat, or it was on the full amount of heat, it just wasn't at that accurate time that it needed to be. So it's fine, I can just go straight back. I'm just going to take this foil off with my card so that we're ready to go. As that then does the countdown, we're just going to then come together with all our bits. So I've got my black card, I've got my foil, and then we're just coming down to that last few seconds there. So I'm just going to take that off so I can get all ready. We're going to do our shiny side down. We're going to go on with our black card, and then we're going to go in with our top plate. You could, if you wanted to, just use that one instead, but because you've got the large carbon plate, just as well using it. Feed that one in. So Gemini, we're just going to let that do its thing.
So Alicia's come in and said, do I need to rotate the foil press plate? We went over that one in the last show. Craig doesn't consciously rotate it, but when he puts it down and picks it up, it probably is a good idea to rotate it. This is Craig's word, but don't get too hung up on it.
No, I wouldn't. So I'm going to leave that out because I'm not actually I'm not, because I am going to use it in a minute. Let's then take that one off, and then we're going to peel that one off. Oh
wow! I actually thought I would have done the colours the other way around before you started, but now I've seen that blue. Doesn't that look striking on the black? I am really impressed with that.
And that is, Corrine, precisely why I done the turquoise on the black.
I actually thought, why has Craig done this? The blue would look better on white, and the white would look better, and the silver would look better on the black. Yeah,
Trust me.
I shouldn't doubt myself, should I?
Not at all. Not at all. So what I'm going to do this time is, you can either go one or the other. So what I mean by that is, I'm going to take the positive, let's set that to the side for now, and then I'm going to take the negative from the silver.
So we're not using the die now?
So we're not using the die now. So all that I'm going to do is I'm going to get that the right way. So I'm going to see where that goes. So that is now, if I get that into position.
So that line's, you can see that's a perfect line up like that.
So that is a perfect line. So you can then foil it like that, or what you can do, and you can use a little bit of low-tack tape, it's going to be absolutely fine. What I'm going to do is, so we're lined up, but then let's do a little bit of a black drop shadow. So let's just get that, so I've got a little bit of a black drop shadow, and I'm going to tape it, and then I'm going to tape it.
Worth taping, isn't it?
It is, yeah, and it won't do any harm having the low-tack tape.
Well, it tapes mainly on your carrier sheet, isn't it?
Exactly, it really, really is. So I'm just going to go in again and tape that, and tape that. Now this is now where we do the waste technique.
Yes.
So let's set that to the side for a second. Let's bring this back in. So let's do reset, and let's go 1 minute 10 for the waste technique. So I've got my foiled layer, so shiny side facing down.
Yeah.
We're going to do our couple of 300 GSM shims that we talked about earlier on. I'm going to bring in my magnetic shim from my junior, and notice I'm not going in with my A4 shim.
Yeah.
You could do.
If your piece was bigger, you would.
Yeah, the piece was bigger, I would. So we've got all our layers there. So we've got our foil, our card, we've got our 2 layers of cardstock.
You're checking yourself.
I'm just double checking there. And then doing the countdown. So from the pressure that you'll have from all of these extra shims, as well as the time on that heat. If I refer back to what I said in Play Your Crafts Right, and like Corrine said, anything more about the machine, if you go back to Play Your Crafts Right, or go back to yesterday's Stars and Stripes, where I talked to you more, I think actually it was more Wake Up Call, I talked more about the machine. For this show, I don't want to get bogged down with the workings of the machine. I've talked you through that. We're just going to get in for the full 2 hours and do techniques, because there's loads that I want to show you. So if there is anything that you want to ask, although I've got set things I want to do, still ask any questions. No problem at all. So let's just wait on that doing the countdown. It's like a watched kettle.
It is.
So, yeah,
We've had a question from Heather saying, is there a carry bag for the MIDI? There always was. I'm not seeing it on the website at the moment. I don't know whether it's sold out at the moment. I just quickly tried to have a look. I can't see it at the moment, but we had one quite recently because I had it on a sale show. Are you still counting down?
Yeah, just a couple of seconds.
Kirsty D says, I really don't use my Foilpress to its full potential, and I really should. Hopefully this will kickstart you off. Beautiful, says Karen, and stunning, says Gwenda. There we are.
So a minute ago, so I showed you what the turquoise looks like on the black card, and that's what it looks like onto just white multi-purpose cardstock. So I pre-done that one so I could show you them both. So it looks gorgeous on the white, but it also looks gorgeous on the black. So what we can then do is we can then take that out. I'm going to leave that out for a moment because we're not going to use it again, not for a couple of minutes anyway. Let's take that out, and then let's take that out. So if we take these layers off, and then we take these layers off, let's turn that around. You can maybe see where we're going with this one. Let's then take the low tack tape off, and then we're going to take the low tack tape off here, and then I'm just going to grab that, and then if I then start to lift this off.
Wow. And that looks lovely with that little bit of black just showing through, doesn't it?
Look at that. So we've done the positive, and then we've done the waste/negative, back overshadowing what we've just done with that drop shadow. And then by simply, and I do like to do this bit because it makes a difference when you trim it compared to the rough edge. So if you simply come along and then just trim it to the size that you want, or one of your nesting dies. Look at that. How cool does that look? So
black and white matte layers is all you need with that, isn't it?
It is. It really, really is. So that is how it looks if you foil turquoise onto black and then use the silver as the waste. If you flip it the other way round, this is then what it would look like. So that is it, just the other way round.
I like the silver. I like the silver waste.
It looks really, really striking, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then if I bring this one that I've pre-done in here.
Classy, that one. That one's really nice.
And you know, depending on what look you're going for, or going for whatever colour theme you're going, because if you've done the blue and the silver, or you've done the rose gold and the silver, or the green and the silver, they're going to look completely different. But then if I do bring this one, so this has just had the turquoise foiled onto the white cardstock, and then you can do this with any of the foils because they are essentially, all the foils are going to then of course resist. So I'm just looking for, I'm going to have my head in my hands if I do this without a glass mat.
I did think.
So, and by the way, you can use your foil press on your glass mat. There's no specific reason that I've not got it today. But if I go in any colour, but I've just picked up a light pale fig, and then all that I'm going to go around is, well, the edges, the whole lot, and it doesn't matter what colour of foil you use. I think that's running dry. Let's get a bit of a darker one. No matter what colour you use when it comes to the foil, Corrine, they're all going to resist.
They are,
They're all going to resist.
Oh, much better.
So we can go all the way round.
Put the dry one in the bin.
The other, I think so, eh? The other good one, foil that's a good one to use is Aurora, because it's got that sort of clear sort of AB look to it. So you really, really do get a really cool resist effect. But if we just go into the middle here, let's then just start to ink that up. Let's just go a little bit more heavy-handed around the edge there. And then all that I'm going to do...
I love how that foil isn't snagging, isn't lifting. You know, you're not... you know, if you used a wet glue, you'd be panicking that it was going to come off.
Yeah.
There is none... I mean, you're using a textured kitchen towel there, and it's not doing any damage to that foil at all.
So, to me, there's more ink on that than it looks to you, and that's the ink that's been sitting on the foil.
Yeah.
It's resisted it.
So it's always worth giving it a good buff afterwards.
Buff it off, always buff it off. But what you can also do, not only with your water reactive, Corrine, if I'd done that onto our watercolour card, which you can absolutely do, then think of your aqua pens, think of your glitter pens if you want to, go with your sparkle pots, anything water-based like that, it's still going to resist that effect. So going from the positive to the negative, then doing drop shadows with them together, maybe just in a little banner, a little sentiment.
They all look so different.
So different, and it is just two pieces of card, white and black, and 2 colours of foil with a water reactive.
Amazing. Absolutely brilliant. I think you're also impressed with that. Heather, you asked a question about the MIDI bag. They are sold out, but our Lily's been able to look on the system and they are on back order. So we don't know, we don't know how long things will take, but there are some due to come in shortly. So I hope that helps, Heather. Yes, there is some, but just give us a chance to get them in. Right, now, this has been going on, these deals have been going on since the beginning of the week, and these are our Stars and Stripes goodie bags. You've been absolutely loving this. This is a perfect way to build up your stash. If you want to get one, want to get two, they work brilliantly together. Now, the official line is there's $160 worth of value in here, but we think there's probably a bit more. Now, the first thing I want to show you, because this is the one where contents may vary the most, is your craft kit. You're going to get a craft kit. This one is $44. It is the Sentiment Edibles kit. You might get that one, you might get another one. I can't confirm that for certain. You're also going to get 2 of your paper pads. You're going to get your naturals in the luxury mix cardstock. You've got the white in your linen and your pearlescent. You've got cream in linen and pearlescent, so that's perfect. Then you've got your rainbow pearl. These are beautiful. All those gorgeous pearlescent. Look at this. It's double-sided. That raspberry pink is beautiful. Then you go into sort of a red. You've got the purple, the green, and the yellow. The fact that they're double-sided is brilliant. All your construction, 300 GSM for... Oh, $250 for the luxury and 300 GSM for the pearlescent. That is more than your $50 value, much more. So everything else I'm going to show you is essentially for free. You've got your heavyweight acetate. You've got your stencils from your Say It with Flowers. Remember, some of these may vary a bit. You've got your Say It with Flowers stamp and die. Even if we change it, it will be of the same value. You've got your 4-inch stamping platform. You'll see how Craig used this one all the time. We always have items that you'll see one of the experts use more than the others. That's Craig's go-to. From the Say It with Flowers, you've got the intricate arc, and your Edibles is the beautiful rose garden. I do love that. That's just made for paper piecing. You've got your deconstructed stamps. That's going to give you there you go. It's the poppies. It is your proud poppies. I love that one, especially if you manage to get some of your masket tape. Your zigzag dies as well. This one is in the country. Your refills for your die brush, and if you wasn't enough already, a couple of packs of your mini dies as well. So that is absolutely amazing, all that value. So I'll pop these back in here so we don't get the muddle. Kits, cardstock, tools, you know, consumables, and look at these are all your bits that, you know, your dies, your stamps. Not limited to one per customer. If you're thinking these would make good presents, you could break them down and give them to everybody. Minimum value is $160. You're getting all of that today. Your today's price is $50, but obviously if you're platinum, it's going to be $40 or somewhere between those two, depending on where you are. I've now got, oh, excuse me, another bag. This is your stripes. So if we've got stars, you've got to have stripes. Oh, then we're going to have, you're still going to have a craft kit. I love this one, 52. It's your embroidery dies. I've done so many shows with these. Absolutely beautiful. You might get that one, that might vary slightly, but we're going to show you that one as a good start. Now, do you remember those two paper pads? These are almost like they're complementary to them. So you've got your retro rainbow, which is again 300 GSM. So it's the same weight cardstock as the pearlescent in the other bag, and it's going to go so well. All those colours are a perfect match. You're going to get 20 sheets. This feels to me like this one might be being used. It has got a few missing, but you can see all of the designs. Absolutely perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 designs, 4 of each, and 24 sheets of your luxury mixed cardstock. And again, this is brilliant. You're getting the linen, you're getting the pearlescent. So can you see how well they will mat and layer together? You've got it in the pink, the purple or lilac, the minty blue, and also the yellow as well. And again, that is more than the value of your bags. So I've now got my flower making, my crepe paper flower making kit with the crepe paper, the foam balls, the floral wire, everything that you might need. That's your mini storage bag. Doesn't have to be used for a mini. It's however you want it, crafts around the home, just tools, you know, depending on what you want. Do you have a drawer in the kitchen with all screwdrivers, tweezers, pliers? Absolutely perfect for that, because it's, you know, it's reinforced, it's padded, that's the word I was looking for, so nothing's going to stick out and be sharp. Perfect in the car as well. Then we've got another edgeable. This is our romantic rose. I do like that one. That is one of my favourites. Another zigzag, which is Once Upon a Time. The Radiant Ranunculus, which is a stamp set. You've got ribbon. You've got gems. Again, you've got a couple of packs of your mini dies. Remember, some things may vary, but the value will always be the same. You've got those. And something that we didn't think we'd see in bags again is the glossy highlights. So there is so much value in this bag. $40 is your platinum price. So that is brilliant. Okay, quick question. When using the negative, is this the only time you use a magnetic shim on the foil press? Says Heidi.
So negative, and so essentially, using the negative is also the waste technique. So yeah, so the waste technique, or if you are using the negative, that's where you use the magnetic shim, and that's the only time
you need to use. Do you use a magnetic shim if you're foiling cardstock, straight onto cardstock, like you did on that blue one this morning?
Yeah, so that's still technically classed as the waste technique.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
okay.
Because what you're just doing is, instead of, so you would think that the piece of foil, with the waste technique, that is the waste, isn't it? All the combination, the cardstock, then your two shims, magnetic, and then your top plate, they all stay the same. The only difference is your foil, instead of it being the waste, it's just a pure sheet of foil. So then therefore it's your foil, then the cardstock, two shims. So that's why it's still, so the waste technique is essentially when you use the negative.
Well, basically, is any time you're using foil direct cardstock. Yeah. Foil direct, whether it's a whole piece of foil or a used piece of foil. If it's foil direct cardstock with no dye or foil stamp, then
lay it up that way. Yeah. Absolutely.
Because that's effectively what your magnetic shim is. It's the same width as your die, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Your stamp, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, it really, really is.
Okay, I'll stop chatting and you can do some more
No problem. So what I'm going to do is, let's go in, and I just want to, I've got an idea guide as to where I'm going, but then...
Could this go anywhere?
Lovely little ideas are popping into my head. So let's take the vellum. Now I'm going to cut this to 1/4 inch smaller than this layer here. So even if you put vellum, how lovely does that look? Looks really, really nice, but we don't want it like that. So let's come in with our monograms. Now, just to let you know, on Thursday, Grace has put it in the schedule, in my schedule diary, that the technique of foiling a name with more than 1 letters is going to be filmed on Thursday. So it is coming. It's what I personally feel I can't do it justice on a live. It really needs to be a video, a reel. So that is in the diary. It's booked for Thursday. We're going to get that filmed out, and I know the girls will get it out as quick as can. You know, give them over the weekend, maybe into next week it will come out. But there is a video / reel coming out, whereas I'll show you how you can then do a name or a word that's got more than that 1 letter. Because it is quite simple, but it's just something you have to get your head around. The reason being is because when you use them, you have to flip them. Now, what I mean by this is I'm going to go in here with the grande, and I'm going to go in with the classic alphabets. So let's just do my initials. So C, D, and L. Now, say I only wanted C and L, but I wanted the spacing correct. You've got little spacers, Corrine.
Ah, that's clever.
This is what I mean by, you need to remember to, in your mind, the way that it's going to be flipped. So what I mean by that is the C is going to go to the right-hand side, then the D is then going to go in the middle, and then the L is going to go on the other side.
And for some of those letters, you've got to remember which way they need to face.
Yeah, well, that'll already be done for you. Well, something like an I doesn't really matter which way, but you can see the C is, as long as it's going in that right flow. I know what you're meaning there, because you might intentionally, unintentionally want to put it that way.
Yeah.
Whereas, what you need to do is make sure that you're going that opposite way. So so instead of it being C, D, L, you're just going to flip it. So it's going to go the other way. But if I only wanted my 2 initials, I've got a little spacer there. But say that's too big a spacer, you've got a smaller one.
Oh, you've got a half space.
That you can then go into the middle there.
I think I like it with the small space.
I like it with the small spacer. So what I'm going to do is then A, B, C, D. Let's just put that one back. Let's put that one back as well. And these are vital when it comes to the video that I will film, because you need to have that correct spacer to fit in.
Go back in,
So don't lose them, whatever you do. You've got hashtag, you've got and. You don't even have to use the monogram alphabets if you don't want to. So what we're going to do is when we're going to come in, now you foil it all together, so it's not as if you do the frame first and then you come along and then do your letters. So
They're
what
nice
we're going to
thin,
do,
aren't they? They're on thin metal so that it doesn't bulk it out.
That's right, yeah. And you can, if you want to, Leanne's done it in the past, if you want to put a little bit of your dotty tapes on the back to hold it in, so just on the back of it, and then pop it in, it's absolutely safe to do so. But what I'm going to do is, I've got my piece of vellum ready to go. Now with the vellum, because it's quite thin, you do need a shim, just 300 GSM. It does tell you in the matrix guide, so it steps you through that. So I've got that, and then I did have a little piece of the turquoise. So let's cut that one again. And what I would say, if there's anything that's really quite vital to have your foil as close to the size that you need, it's when it comes to the frames and the monograms. So for this one, because essentially it's still a small one, what I'm then going to do within this one here, because it's really small and it's onto vellum, I'm just going to come all the way down to, well, see, my matrix says 20 seconds, but I'm going to do 15 seconds. So we're going to go 15. So what I'm doing, because I'm not taping it down with my dotty tape runner, I'm just going to go in, and then I want to kind of gauge it. So I'm going to come down here, and then I'm just going to get them into place best I can, and then that's without using a dotty tape. I'm trying to do it as quick as I can because this is on heat for longer than it needs. So what I'm going to do is put my shim, I'm going to put my carbon plate over the top. We're going to let that do the countdown. So I've got my vellum, and this is just our normal Crafter's Companion vellum, and I've got my shim. I'm actually just going to use a bigger one. So we can then take that one off. I'm just being careful not to move that. I'm then going to come in with my foil, and then I'm just going to move that into place. And then what I'm going to do is, using my grids, I'm going to try and keep that as straight as I possibly can. I'm going to go in with my shim, I'm going to go in with my top plate, and then what I'm just going to do is slide that one through. And again, now that we've got that optical sensor, you'll notice I didn't cut my shim. It's actually sticking out the sides. Doesn't matter for your Gemini 2. Your Junior, you'd need to make sure that your shim is within the size of your platform. So what we can do it now, I think I've maybe got a little bit of underfoiling, but we'll have a look. Oh no, we're absolutely fine.
Oh, Robbie says she's excited to see this.
So, see where I've got that overfoiling here?
Yeah.
Let me just see, we did have, typical, I bet it's disappeared. We did have an eraser going about. Typical.
I've not seen it for a while.
Not seen it. Oh, typical. Absolutely typical, isn't it? So, what you'll find, 9 times out of 10 with vellum, that's not overfoiling. That is just a residual foil sitting on top. I wonder if I would get away with this. I wonder if I'd get away with this. No, I do. I need an eraser. Sugar lumps. We did have one as well, didn't we? Typical. Right. Let's carry on for a moment. So essentially, what you can see is you've got your foil. And then if you've got your foil, you've got your monograms. So then you can then either come straight under, and then you can see that sitting over the top. How epic does that look that you've got there? But then of course you could then maybe just do a little black strip, or you could then cut that, and then that can then just sit nicely within the middle. Just a couple of little dots either way, side by side. But what we're going to do, just while they very kindly look for an eraser for me, I've already cut a few layers. So what we can do is then we can go in with these ones here. So I'm just going to add this onto my white, where I've created a little matting layer. So let's press that one in. We're then going to go onto the back to then give ourselves a black matting layer. And then that's just finishing that one off, like so. And then what we can do is we can pop that one on into place. I'm going to use some of our tacky glue. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a couple... Oh, magic hands coming in. Awesome. Thank you.
No, thank you, Jake.
So all that we're going to do is take that eraser and we're going to take it away. Now, just to warn you, you won't necessarily be able to do that with cardstock. It's just to do with, I think it's to do with the friction, the vellum and the heat. So if you do it with vellum, please don't think that it's overfoiling. Just go in with an eraser and then take it away. So if we take that one away, and I'm just going to go in there and take that one away.
Oh, perfect.
Now we've got...
What difference?
What an absolute difference. So then what I'm going to do is let's just do a few little dots. You could do brads if you want. Brads would look lovely. But I'm just going to come in, and then I'm going to then pop that one into place. And
how perfect would this be to personally monogram invitations?
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. And it's really quite a simple and cost-effective way of doing it. So I'm just going to go in like that. I'm going to smear that out, and then I know, and I think they're in my case, so I'll grab them afterwards. We've got some pearls, and then what I'll do is I'll cover those ones. But then look at that. Maybe you really do not need anything else. You could come along and foil some ribbon that we'll do shortly. Maybe do a little bit of ribbon round there if you want to. Or of course, as I said, you could just cut that in half. You could have a butterfly. You could have another monogram way, or another embellishment from your foil. It could be your love doves at the top here, but there's so many ways that you can go.
I like that. I just love that. I love the white space, effectively, you know.
Yeah, I'm going to cover the glue dots with pearls or gems, whatever I've got to hand, but I'm leaving it like that. I'm not going to add anything else to it. We're just leaving it.
Absolutely perfect. Hopefully you all really like that. Now, we're going to leave these details on while Craig's doing it. We'll always leave these on. So if you are inspired and you're in the US and you really want a Gemini foil press machine, then there's the details. $111.99 today, but your platinum price is only $89.59. Robbie was really excited to see that. Gwenda G says, I have to do a wedding card today. I'm thinking of using my foil press. Absolutely brilliant. Oh, I'm on my own. Craig's gone to get his gems. I've got a question off Tim, which we will look at in a minute. But first, I'm going to show you a couple of extra ones. I have some of our floral panels. These would foil like a dream. They are 60% savings on these, or over 60%. So these ones haven't been seen in the UK. These are for our US viewers only. You've got the magnolia and the cherry. So for each one, you've got 2 panels, 2 outside dies as well. One more floral, one more foliage base. So this is magnolia and cherry. 8-piece collection because you're getting 4 dies in each. $10. That is amazing, amazing value. If you're platinum, $8, a dollar a die, which is brilliant. Now, the other one I want to show you is a double deal. So this is your Bohemian paper pads. We're going to give you 2. They're 6 by 6. They are absolutely gorgeous, double-sided paper pads, beautiful colours, absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous imagery. And you know what? You don't need to have the Bohemian collection to use these. If you have got the Bohemian collection, absolutely brilliant. But how about adding foiling to these? Yeah, like our Lily just said, on the reverse where the pattern is a little bit paler, you know, softer. Yeah, so buy one, get one free. Instead of being $9.99 each, and then one's upside down, you'll be paying nearly $20. We're going to actually only pay $9.99, $7.99 for 2 pads. $4 each if you are platinum. Heather's going to save this video so she can watch it often. Very pretty, says Lois. Loving the card, says Barbara. Oh, and I'm just going to show you. We're going to go to a VT, but look, Craig has just put a couple of gems on.
I literally just ran out to my car.
Yeah.
I'm that packed up ready for Hobby Maker the next few days. I put my case in the car, but I've just put some coordinated pearls in each corner. I put a couple there, and that's all that I'm doing. Absolutely
perfect. We love that, Craig, so thank you. Right, as we said, we're just going to go to a VT. It's to give you a chance to check out your baskets, because remember, it's not yours until you have completed that checkout process. And when numbers are getting low, then you need to make sure you are quick. So here's a little intro all about Club Inspire.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the crafters' companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% off your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every £1, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
Hello Crafters, we've got some really exciting news in the works here at Crafters Companion. So I've dug out my hard hat and I've popped down to our UK warehouse to give you the lowdown. Now we do listen to you guys and we know that delivery times have been an issue for our crafty community, so we're doing something about it. The team is getting ready to set up a new and improved state-of-the-art system right here in our global distribution hub. This new picking and packing facility means we'll be able to process orders and ship them to you faster and more efficiently than ever before. This means less time waiting for parcels to arrive and more time getting stuck into your next creative project. While we get this new world-class service up and running, there'll be a few temporary changes. So here's what you need to know. Our UK warehouse will shut down for a week while the team sets up the new system. Don't worry, you can continue to shop as normal on the Crafters Companion website. You'll just wait a little longer for your orders to arrive. US crafters, listen up. We'll be able to send you guys some orders from our warehouse in California. These will be delivered as normal, so look out for this label on the site. If you're waiting for your parcel to arrive, don't worry, we'll keep you crafting. Join the Crafters TV team every day to find out how to make the most of your craft collection. With a different theme and tutorials every day, craft your stash with us to find fresh, creative inspiration in your paper pads, inks, and more. Right, that's enough from me now. I'm going to leave the guys here to get cracking. If you need any more info, head over to the Crafters Companion website and don't forget to tune in to Crafters TV. I'll see you there.
Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. We shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products with live tutorials and demonstrations. Join our family of craft experts where fun happens every day.
Are we in trouble or are we all right?
Yeah.
Should be coming in. Should be coming.
What does he do?
Exactly
What
how
does he do?
he looks.
This is awesome! This is awesome!
Get creative and craft along. With our amazing deals, your next craft project is just a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week, or you can watch us on Catch Up at crafterscompanion.com, Facebook, or our YouTube channels. You can chat to us, craft along, and meet new friends by joining our online crafting community.
And I watch you every day, and it's just what really gets you through when you're really at rock bottom.
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. Crafters TV, create every day.
I'm loving these comments. Rose says, oh wow, Craig, that is beautiful. I'll have to do that technique. Yep. And remember, those monogram dies are available in the US. They were available on the show last night. And if there's some left, go and have a look at the website and you'll definitely find them on there. Quick question. Kathleen White says, I just foiled the little regal rose. We think that's a normal die. And it cut out a few pieces. Why is that?
So to me it sounds like you've got a bit too much pressure on that one there. So if you're doing...
Cut in, cut out dies.
So if you're doing the cut in, cut out ones, right, so that regal rose then, so then that is then going to be that you've got a little bit too much pressure on. So with your, so I'm presuming then, so you'll just be your die facing upwards, then it's going to be your foil with your cardstock and then your carbon plate on top. So just making sure that you're probably not adding any extra shims or that, but that's all that you need. If you if you have got a little bit extra pressure, then there's not really anything that you can take out. It'll depend as well on, well, not depend, but I suppose maybe you need to take into account the actual thickness of your cardstock.
Yeah.
Are you using like a 180 against, you know, a 310 or maybe a little bit higher? Because you can absolutely still foil onto them. You just need to take into account, if you're using normal wafer thin dies, extra thickness means extra bulk, which means extra pressure, so therefore some of the die can actually go through your cardstock. So if there's a way you can reduce that little bit of pressure with your cardstock, do that.
Perfect. And Cindy Condy says, I want to see everything that Craig carries around in his car. Is it quite full? Well,
it's certainly full today because I've got my craft case, although instead of just looking for the gems, I just brought one half of it out. I've got lots of samples for the rest of the team for future hobby maker shows. I've not even put my suitcase in it yet because I'm there for a couple of days. I've not even put my prep and my finished samples for the shows that I'm doing yet. My boot's full and the back seat in the car is going to be even fuller by tonight. No, I'll do it tomorrow morning. I'll put it in the car.
Do you know what? When I change my car, I always have to consider. The first car I got when I was a craft demonstrator, it was like...
No chance.
No, not a chance. It just did. We need large boots in our cars. There we
do indeed.
Right, I want to just quickly remind you of our Weekend Wonder. This came live today at 11 o'clock. Apparently it's been really, really popular because remember, it's only available in the US at the moment. Stock versus clock, if this sells out before just before 11 on Monday, then that will be it. It will be gone. It won't be restocked because we are just looking for, just using up some stock that we've managed to locate in our US warehouse. Should be just over $80. I'm just trying to see the price. Should be just over $80. You're saving $20.55 and you're getting it for $60 each. These are, if you're today's price, they're working out at $6.66. If you're platinum, getting it down there at $48, you're paying $5.33 per pot. Each pot, I'm just see, each pot, I don't know if I've opened one yet, is full, absolutely full of gorgeous, oh, there we go, this one has been opened. Let me see if I can do it without getting totally covered in glitter. Oh, it has been opened, but look at that. You can see all that gorgeous, gorgeous shimmer. It's been opened as this one. I don't know how they've got into this because the foil is still, but look at that, absolutely gorgeous. The colour, yeah, that was a mistake, Corrine. You shouldn't have done that, but never mind. Oh, I think I know where there's a piece of kitchen roll. But you're going to get full 50ml pots. Ours have gone down. Make sure you get those. Make sure when you've done them that you put the lids on nice and tight. Keep them sealed at all times. So there we go. Ooh. Diane says, I have the monogram set, but wasn't sure how to use it. Thank you, Craig. There we go. There we are. So, right now, Craig has got something else to show us. What are you going to show us this time?
Something so blinking simple that everyone has, but by gosh, it's so effective. So, that is basic, simple nesting dies. We've all got them in some form. So I'm using our circle stitched edge. So I'm going to go, so this is the full set that many of you will have from the past. So I'm going to use the two main outer dies. What I'm also going to do, which apart from the background dies, my favourite foil press stamp of all time, no surprise, it's going to be the stag. So we're going to do that. So what we're going to do to start with is we're going to foil. Now I'm doing it on white card again. Like I said within Play Your Crafts Right, predominantly you're going to be doing foiling onto cardstock. So that's why a lot of it I'm showing you is cardstock, but we are going to do some different materials just shortly, just so you get that you get that knowledge as to what else you could use. But what I'm going to do is my two largest outline dies. I've got my white cardstock to the size that I want, and I've got some rose gold papercraft foil. Now for this, 4 seconds.
Wow, that's not long.
So it's not long at all, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get that as central as I can, and then I'm going to pop that one into place, and then we're just going to go and press start, because it is just the very, very tip of that die that you need to then heat up. This is one of our wafer thin dies, so remember, face up. So I'm going to put my foil over the top, and then because I've got that central, I can kind of gauge this one, so I can get that central as well. And then we're going to go in with our top plate. So going by the last question there about your die cut cutting, if you are foiling with your normal wafer thin dies, that's a configuration. The die, the foil, the card, and then the top plate. So we can then bring this one out here, and then we're going to lift and take that off, and it's just come away with absolute ease.
That's pretty.
Now, how close can we get on that, George?
So has that got a solid line and then a faux stitch
It
in
has,
as well?
yeah. It's giving you that solid
elegant
line, but it's even got those little perforation dots. Remember, those perforations, they're not cut lines. That's little embossed detail, and it's picked that up as well. So we've now got our inner frame that we foiled from our nesting dies. So we're going to set that one to the side for now. Now, of course, I can come back, do the waste technique, or I've got plenty there that I could be using.
Trim it down or
And in
whatever.
actual fact, it would fit onto there if I trimmed it down, but I do have a bit already good to go. So let's take it off. Remember, you've got tweezers, you've got finger grips if you're a little bit heat sensitive, but it's not boiling hot. Most people will be able to handle them in their hand, because you at home, you tell me in the past that that's exactly what you do. So let's go in now with our stag. So we're going to go in with our stag here, and I'm going to go up to 20 seconds.
So this is a foiling.
This is a foiling one, yeah. You've got no cut detail. The detail of it is purely flat, so that's another indication that it is a foiling stamp. So I'm going to come back in here, and I'm going to stick with the rose gold, and I've got another piece of rose gold and another piece of white cardstock. And I'm not necessarily worried about it being in the centre for this one, because we'll come back with the exact same nesting dies in a moment.
Somebody just asked, you said about face up. Janine says, what do you mean by face up, please?
So, and apologies for that, because if you're new to die cutting or you're new to the foil press, what I mean by that is when it comes to your dies, they've got your die cutting edge. So that is what we say is the sharp edge or the blade. It doesn't cut. So what I'll just do is I'll explain that in a moment, because as soon as this beeps, you need to just carry on with what you're doing. So foil, shiny side down. We're then going to go over the top with your cardstock, and then we're going to do our carbon plate. We're going to run this one through. So die facing up. Your die, all your dies have got that cutting edge on the top, the blade as we call it. So what I mean by facing up is that just means that that cutting edge of the blade is facing upwards. Don't have it facing down, because then you're going to cut into your heat mat. So make sure that that nice smooth back edge, no matter what papercraft die you're using, but your nice smooth back edge is the one that's actually facing down, or essentially, as what I'm referring to, your die cut edge is facing up towards you. So essentially, just make sure your die faces up and you're not cutting into your mat.
Okay, thank you. That was from Janine, so perfect.
So we can take this one off. Now we've started to get that impression.
Oh, yeah.
Now look at that. Now,
Wow.
yes, but look, a little bit of underfoiling. Can you just see down into there?
Oh, yeah.
Little bit of underfoiling and a little bit there. Now, with something like the stag, that can work, you know, kind of like that organic nature, rough feel to it. So you can still use it, but then what we're going to do, let's do it again, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go up by 3 seconds. So I'm just going to take that sec, reset, we're on green, I've gone up by 3 seconds, so I'm just going to put the stag back, and then we're going to press start. Let me get another bit of cardstock and another bit of foil, and we can do that again, and I am pretty confident that that is all that you need just to rectify. Remember, the heat doesn't change, the heat stays exactly the same. It is the actual time that's on your platform, that's what changes. So let's take that one off. Let's go back in with our foil, and then let's just make sure I've got enough to just cover it.
Cut that one
Just
tight,
and no
haven't
more.
you?
Just and no more. Layer up, pull out, slide through. But I'm not going to bin that, because I still like that, because you've kind of got that rough feel to it with the little bits that are a little bit underfoiled. So that can go to my stash that I can use another time. But I was hoping, as I said, within Play Your Crafts Right, we'll maybe get a bit of under or over foiling, so I can show you how to rectify it. But if I go into there, absolute perfection. When it comes to the foiling,
So
that's
just that
solid.
little bit longer.
That's it. And probably, I could have got away with just adding 2 seconds, never mind 3. But this is where I mean by you'll get to know your machine. So I'm going to come in with the stag here. I'm going to see if I can get a little bit smaller. So I want it to kind of be off. Now let's just go in with, because that, oh no, that one will be fine. The last 2 I foiled. So we can now come in with this one, and let's just lightly line that one up. So let's take our low tack tape. So what we can do is then pop that into here, and then we can then pop that on to hold it down.
They're deciding
They
in the
are.
gallery what logo this one could be for, and it's definitely an alcoholic-related logo.
Yes.
It's whiskey, I think, or yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be something Scottish, doesn't
I've got
it?
a couple of questions for you.
Yeah.
But because of them all, what you're doing being sort of time-bound, I'm just going to let you finish
Yeah.
this, and then I'll come at you with a couple of questions.
Sounds good to me. So what we can then do is then we've now die cut
Wow.
that outer edge. So let's then take that one out of the way. Now I've got, I went and I was going to do gold and then I've changed to rose gold. So I'm just going to go with what I had planned because it'll still work. Let's bring this one in and then let's pop that onto a bit of gold satin. If I thought ahead, I would have got some rose gold, but it's still going to work. So we've created our foiled frame from our nesting dies, Papercraft nesting dies, and then I'm just going to come along. You could do an additional little ink. Actually, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's go in with, no, let's not do gold. I've already got a back gold. Let's go
Lily's getting twitchy that you're inking without a glass mat, Craig.
I'll use my glass mat.
He's going to use it. He's going to use it.
Well, I'm not going to use the glass mat because I'm not going to do inking. Let's go in with the bronze. Let's just go in with the bronze because it's close to the rose gold. And then this enables me to not have to do an additional matting layer. It gives me a faux matting layer around the edge. Let's go in and then let's just snip a few bits off and then snip that one on, and then you can come along with a sentiment or a few gems or a few pearls and pop that into place, and then there we go.
Amazing.
So maybe a little bit of tartan ribbon or a few gems or something, or a sentiment, a bit like the snowflake one that I kind of done within Play Your Crafts Right. Something like that. You don't always need a sentiment.
No.
Sometimes you can just give that to the recipient. But that circle nesting dies, it could be plain, but that is your stitched edge circle. The largest two I foiled to create that foiled frame with the embossed perforated lines. Then we've then foiled the stag, die cut it out with the exact same nesting dies, and then layered it up together.
Beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. I'd do something like a 5x7 card, a silver and a gold mat, and then a strip of bright top, a little strip of bright top, and then put that on top.
Beautiful.
Does that pop a colour? There you go. Okay. Now, I know Craig answered this yesterday, but he'd be more than happy to answer it today. Kathleen says, do you only have to use CC foil? I found a lot of Xyron foil, don't remember where it came from.
Right, it's a really good question. As long as the foil is heat-activated foil or heat foil, you can absolutely do that. The one that I know for certain in the UK is Keith at Paper Dynamics. His is heat foil, so you can use his. So as long as it's heat foil, not cold foil, heat foil, then you can use it with the Foilpress.
Perfect, absolutely right. Diana says, can you tape the die to the foil plate?
Can you tape them? I wouldn't recommend taping them.
Because it's that heat onto the adhesive.
If you're taping anything, for instance, if you're using the dotty tape pen with the monograms, then of course you're taping the die to the die. Same with the low-tack tape, you're taping the foil to the cardstock. I wouldn't recommend putting any adhesive because, as Corrine just said there, that's instant contact with that heat against the adhesive. So I wouldn't recommend do that. Just stick to the project themselves, not the actual base.
Perfect, okay. This one is just for you to store, so when you start showing us again, how do we use the border and corner dies? So,
right,
okay, yeah. And Samantha says, when peeling the foil, should we always peel immediately?
Really good question. That doesn't actually matter. It doesn't really matter. So, you can foil it, set it to the side, and you could come back half an hour later.
It's the heat. It only adheres while it's got the heat. So as soon as everything cools down, it's not a problem.
Yeah, not a problem.
Good question, though. Cindy Condy, can you heat it for too long? Why wouldn't we always leave it on longer to make sure there isn't any underfoiling?
say that start again.
Can we heat it for too long?
Yes.
Why wouldn't we always leave it on longer to make sure there isn't any underfoiling? I think you went this yesterday, but we've possibly not done this today.
So absolutely, you can absolutely overfoil. If you leave it on the hot plate for any longer than it needs to be, that's where you're going to get overfoiling. So that foil's really going to then start to, it's kind of going to connect to all the other layers or all the other parts of the cardstock that you don't want to. So that's why it's essential. Once you go with the matrix, get to know your machine, every size, it has its time, and that is the accurate time for it to be on. So don't let it go on any longer. If you do get underfoiling, now remember, the temperature doesn't change. So we're on low, it stays that same temperature for no matter what, but what you just need to do is you're in control of how long it's on for. So if we get that little bit of underfoiling, like I done there, and I just found there that, what was it, I'd done, was it 15 to start?
You did 3 extra, didn't you?
I did, yeah. So I done 15 seconds to start with, and I got a little bit of underfoiling. So therefore, that just means it needed a little bit longer. So that's why I added 3 seconds. Could have got away with 2, but absolutely, please don't leave it on any longer than it needs to be, because you will get overfoiling.
So for overfoiling, basically what you'll see is you'll see extra little bits of foil stuck to your project.
Yeah.
You'll see where it goes. Because everything will have got too hot.
Yeah.
It'll have warmed your cardstock up, and your cardstock will adhere to it.
So overfoiling is all this excess foil would then potentially transfer onto all this area that you don't want it to be.
The good comparison, the only way I can compare it to is, you know when you're doing your waist and we want the whole thing to adhere?
Yeah.
You heat it for 1 minute something or other, didn't you?
1 minute 10.
1 minute 10. So what you've done is you've got it really, really hot. You've got that foil hot. If you overheat, you're almost stepping into waste foiling territory.
Yeah.
So what you're trying to do is you're trying to find that balance between foiling a die and going into waste.
Absolutely.
And you've just got to find that point where you're doing one or you're doing the other, and you don't want them to cross. And overfoiling is where you've just gone a little bit too close to the waste technique, and you need to pull it back a bit.
Absolutely, yeah. And then on that one, try not overcomplicate it with yourself. Start with the matrix, and then do what the matrix says. Get underfoiling, add a few seconds yourself. Overfoiling, just reduce it. That's when you start to get to know. So don't worry, don't panic. Go by the matrix, and then you get to know your machine.
I showed lots of pieces of paper on there, so I'm guessing that often, do you put yourself little pieces of paper in your die packets to remind you of how long you've done?
Because, for instance, the faux leather, I very, very rarely do that, so I needed to remind myself, and I just write myself notes. I've still got, I know we're going off piste ever so slightly.
No, but it's all helpful. This is what these shows are about.
This is not, well, it is my handwriting, but this is my quick note handwriting. This is from like 4.5 years ago, and I've got pages where I've just written very quick notes, and that's what I've done. As I was working with it, as I was practicing with it, I've then just given myself notes. It becomes familiar. That stays in my bag now. I never refer to it, but I've got my notes here just in case.
Yeah. Okay, so Roxanne thought that was gorgeous, that card. How creative is that, says Karen, and Diana is loving this. So perfect. Right, now, one of the most popular items, or two most, that we have had on the show today have been these plates. So it's neck and neck apparently between the 12 by 12 and the 12 by 18. So these are your Gemini Pro accessory bundles. So these are all of your plates. So these are your consumables. What you're going to get in the 12 by 12 is 2 of the clear plates. So you've got the full 12 by 12 clear plates. You've got your magnetic shim. You've got your metal cutting plate, you've got your rubber embossing mat, you've got your plastic shim, and you've got a lovely little bag to put all of those in. Now, there's nearly $115 worth of value in this bundle, but no, you're going to get these for $50. If you're platinum, you're going to get them for $40, saving $74.70 if you are platinum, which is an amazing, amazing deal. But neck and neck with that has been this deal here. So this is your 12 by 18, because remember, this is what your your Pro can do for you. You can use these extra long plates because it's the same width, it's a 12, but it's just got an extra 6 inches added onto the end so that you know, it's going to run through. You're going to get 2 of your clear cutting paper. I know I've only got 1 in my hand, but you will get 2. You're getting 7 items in this bundle. You're getting your, these are too big to hold up. You're getting your plastic shim. You're getting your rubber embossing mat, a full 12 by 18. You're getting your metal cutting plate. How much could you get on one of these plates? You're getting your magnetic shim, and again, you're getting the perfect bag to store all of those in. Your savings for this are even better. You're getting this for $60 instead of $141 today. You're saving $81.74 on your today's price. You're going to save an extra $12. You're going to save $93 and only pay $48 if you are getting these today. This is one where I would be saying if you can afford it and you use it, multi-order, because the savings just aren't going to be able to be repeated. So that is perfect. Right, I'll keep an eye out. On questions. Joanne says, can I foil on watercolour backgrounds I've made? And Kathleen says, I have pink pearlescent cardstock foil, but it is see-through with a pink colour. Should it be that way? Pink pearlescent cardstock foil, but it is see-through with a pink colour.
It's not one of ours then.
It can't be one of ours.
Not one of ours.
It must be. I've seen opaque. I used to, in a previous life, I used to have an opaque foil.
Right.
I remember what it was. So it almost added a sheen. I don't know the brand. It's not one of ours.
As long as it's heat foil.
As long as it's for heat application, then it should be fine.
Therefore.
Okay.
Definitely.
So Craig, what have you got? Joanne's playing with a foil press for the first time as well.
Excellent. Glad to hear that. Right, let's do some materials now. Let's go in with our some of our borders here. So I'm going to go in with the confetti border, and I'm going to take this one out. So we kind of touched upon this yesterday, but I didn't line it up that properly because I was in that much of a giddy rush to show you what you could do. So what we're going to do is let's go in with the reset. So I'm going to go in with our border. Now what you can do what I'm away to do. How many do's can I say do within one sentence of do?
I'm sure you can do more than that, do.
I'm sure I could do more than that. I'm going to do that as much as I can do that. So what I'm away to do here, you can still do it with all of your backgrounds or any of your borders. Just because that's large doesn't mean you have to use the whole lot, but we are going to use the border. So what I'm going to do within this one here, I've got my foils ready to go. I've got some white satin card ready to go.
No, that's ribbon. Card.
What did I say?
White satin card.
Satin ribbon. I've got satin ribbon. That's what I've got here. And then all that I need to do is when it comes to the ribbon, I'm going to go in with a piece of shim cardstock here. So we're going to go in and then let's pop this one on. So with the border, I'm going to go up to 14 seconds. And then what I'm going to do is pop this one on. I'm just going to do it in the centre. You can do it wherever you like, but I'm just going to do it in the centre, and then we're going to press start. So I've got my strips of foil, and I've got these cut to as close to the size that I actually need. So I've got 2 because we'll do 2 back to back, and then I'm going to come in with my low-tack tape. This is going to be a prime example as to where I position my low-tack tape, because I'm not going to do it onto the heat platform. I'm going to do it onto the plastic base. So we're going to go in, and then let's go in with our foil, and I'm going to pop that on. Let's take our ribbon, and then I'm going to then tape that one down into place here. And I'm just making sure that I can feel that I am on that die, or that stamp. You could tape it down there if you wanted to, but I'm just going to go in. Let's go in with our shim. If you forget the shim, now it'll probably still work, but any of this excess might go onto your carbon plate. If it does, don't worry about it. It's still going to work absolutely perfectly. You're just going to have a lovely foiled carbon shim. So we're just going to hold, let that do its thing, and then we're going to go out at the back, and then we're just going to then take this one out. And then this can be as long as you want when it comes to the ribbon. So we're going to pop it in because I'm going to use it again. So we can then lift, and then what I'm going to do is take that off, and then we can then start to peel all the way down that we've got. Now that is your rustic, so don't worry, nothing's gone wrong within that one. It's your rustic dots. So what we're then going to do is let's take that off, and then we're just going to reheat that up. We're on green, we're all ready to go. So we're going to press start. I'm just going to use the same bit, even although I've got some of the indents in there, I'm still going to use it. I've got my foil good to go, and then we just finished doing that countdown. I'm going to come in again with my tape, and then this time what I'm going to do, before I put my foil on, I'm going to try and get a close connection between them both, and I'm taping to my plastic case. I'm not taping onto my heat mat. So let's pop that one on, then it's lift, let's do that one again. Let's put in our foil, let's put in our ribbon, making sure that's relatively straight. Pop that one on, pop that one on, and then this time what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bend that back on itself so it doesn't ravel within the actual Gemini. So just gripping that, letting that do its thing. That's going to do exactly the same what it's done a moment ago, but then we're going to have that continuous design of the distressed dots. So we can then take that one off, we can then lift, take off, pull off that we've got here.
Absolutely
and then,
perfect.
Do you know what? Let's just do one more. I think I've got enough, or an extra piece. I've got 3 lengths out of the one width that I've got there. So let's bring that one in. And then we can do our waist technique with them, of course. And then what you could do is you could always then just line all these ones up in one continuous flow and create a lovely background that way. But we're going to go in, and then we're just going to take that one off. Let's go up. So I've got the end is here. So let's tape that one on. I'm just going to put the full foil on because that shim is going to capture all the rest. That can go there. We're just then going to then fold that back, slide that one out. We're then just going to run that one through. Let that do its thing. And then once we've done that, you might see where I'm going to go with this one, you might not. Let's take this one out. I'm going to pop that in. Actually, I'm going to take it out because I'm not going to use that again. Move that out the way, take that off, peel that off. We've now got our ribbon. I could be a little bit closer, but what we can then do is then just come along, and then we're going to then tie a little bow, and then once we get to the tail ends, what I'm going to do is twist that around. Let's then start to pull all that again. So if you ever hear anyone say, Craig doesn't tie his own bows, then you've always got proof of Crafters TV that Craig does always tie his own bows. But you can still come along and use your bow maker on your Ultimate Pro if you want to. Let's then just go in, let's make that a little bit shorter. Let's go into here. Good call, Lily. You could use that as a hair accessory for a little girl. And actually I'm happy with the tails. Now I'm not going to stick it on, but then you can make a feature when it comes to your card or your project. But that's how you can foil any of your ribbons. Now, you can do your satin, you can do your gloss green as well. Anything with real texture, keep in mind, you're not going to get a smooth impression, but you can still foil with it. And then all that you're going to do is say you wanted to do what I'd done there, but with one of the background dies, nothing changes. Instead of putting this down, just put your big background die down. So I'll not take it off. Just stick that down, and then still just use a strip of foil. I wouldn't necessarily cover the whole lot with foil, just replicate exactly what I'd done there with that one. The only difference is you're selecting which part of the background that you want to foil. And then you can foil your satin, your organza, your gloss grain ribbon, anything like that.
Perfect.
You've got a lovely bow.
Thank you. Absolutely gorgeous. Right, you're all loving that as well. Janine says, good morning all. Craig, can you put all different colours of foil on a die? This could use up all the foil you waste, or can you not do this? We've already talked about, that's a demo, hopefully you're going to squeeze in the last half hour.
So if I do an organza bag, do some faux leather, and then I'll get some scraps and we'll do that technique.
Perfect, yeah. Kathleen White says, can you use the monogram letters on the ribbon to personalise it?
Of course you can. Great idea.
That would be
Brilliant
lovely.
idea.
Okay. So I'm going to be really, really quick and show you. We've got 2 of our goodie bags. This is stars. So what you're going to get in here, $160 worth of value. Remember, some of the contents may vary, but you will get a craft kit. Can't tell you which number it is. This is 44, but you will get one of them. This is the Sentiment Edgeables. You're also going to get 2 paper pads. You're going to get your neutrals in your luxury mixed cardstock. You're also going to get your rainbow pearl. 300 GSM in the rainbow pearl, 20 sheets, 24 sheets in the luxury mixed cardstock, and that's 250 GSM. That is more than the value of your bag, especially if you're platinum and only paying $40. We've also got Build-A-Bouquet templates in there. We've also got heavyweight acetate and a stamping platform. All of these are effectively for free. You've got your zigzag die. You've got your Rose Garden Edgeables. You've got your deconstructed bouquet and your proud poppies. That's a stamp. Your intricate arc. That's a 2-die set, so you get the outside and the inside. You're also going to get your pretty peonies, which is a stamp and die set. I love that. That stamped, heat stamped onto vellum, then coloured from behind. Looks beautiful. Your die brush, 3 replacement heads for your die brush, because the bristles do go because they get caught in the little holes. And then you're going to get 2 of your mini die sets. So all of this is effectively for free. Look at all of that. Imagine all the gifting you could do with those, and you're just going to be paying for a few items. As you say, some of the contents may vary, but you're definitely going to get a craft kit. You're definitely going to get your paper pads. I think you're going to get those paper pads, and then you've got all of the bits on here that will change. So that is absolutely perfect. That was stars. If you like that, that was stars. But the alternative to stars is stripes. Now, these work so well together. You're going to get a different craft kit in there. So you're going to get this one. I love this one. This is 52. You might get this one. I know somebody was hoping they'd get this the other day. Can't be certain, but hopefully. You're still going to get your luxury mixed cardstock. This time it's in pastels. That went a bit posh, didn't it? Parcels. And then we have got our retro rainbow, 300 GSM, perfect to go with that other pearlescent cardstock you saw in the other bag. So those are brilliant. You've got your crepe paper flower making kit with the crepe paper, the floral wire, the foam balls, and the floral tape. Now these are the bits that you're likely to be paying and getting for free. You've got your mini bag, but don't worry if you've not got a mini or you don't take your mini out and about. It is a great bag. I think your classic pens will fit in there beautifully, or you could have it as a glue bag because it's all lined. If you're going off to places and you think, what if my glue leaked? Nothing to worry about there because it's all going to be captured. Or it could be your tools, things like your sharp tweezers, your pokey tools, your scissors, all captured. Doesn't even have to be craft. It could be a baby bag, it could be a makeup bag, it could be a pill bag, however you wanted to use it. You've got a different zigzag card. This is Once Upon a Time, and you've got a different edgeable. This is the Romantic Rose. Your stamp set is a different one. This one is the Radiant Ranunculus. You've also got some ribbon, 9 pieces of ribbon in there. You could be foiling on those. You've got your 100 floral embellishments, your little pearls, as Craig's shown you, perfect for covering up little bits of glue. 2 of your mini dies, your alphabet and your dragonfly. And something that we thought we weren't going to see in goodie bags, your glossy highlights. So you're going to get your full bottle of glossy highlights. That's not a taster or a sample, it's everything you're going to get. $50 for all of this. All of this is coming to you for $50. $40 if you are platinum. These are offers that can't be missed. They are absolutely perfect. So there we go. Right, Craig's getting a bit warm over there. Obviously, the heat from that machine.
The heat from the machine and the lights and the sunshine out there. Yeah, that's awesome. Do you know what? I'm having a blast though.
Good.
I'm having an absolute blast. I hope you guys are as well. We're going to do a few other things. Right, what about wedding favours? Wedding favours, your little organza bag. Now, you know, you can get, I don't know, about 20 of these for a couple of quid on Prime or anywhere that you can shop online. So what we're going to do is I've got our organza bag. Now what I'm away to do here, you need to put in a shim inside. Because it's organza, when we come to foil on it, what will happen then, you'll foil all the way through, which isn't a big deal, but what will happen is it will stick the organza bag together. So you need to make sure you've got that separation. And this one, it doesn't need to be any specific weight, as long as it is a piece of card that then is going to then separate the front and the back.
It's also going to stop it from wrinkling and ruffling, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah, it is.
You've got that really snug, haven't you?
I've got it really, really snug. It's just catching on one of those strands in there. So let's just trim that ever so slightly to make that easier for me. So let's just pop that one back in. So let's pop that in. So what we're going to need is we're going to need our organza bag. We're going to be needing an additional shim. Now I'm going to go in with our swirl here. So that one is Flourishing Swirls 2. So I've got my piece of foil, which is just going to then fit. So we're going to go on, and then we're going to do 10 seconds for this. And then what we're going to do is do that start. I've been cutting loads of strands here because I don't have enough offcuts to show you that technique with the offcuts I've got. So I've just been cutting some for myself so I can show you the background shortly. So we're going to go in with our foil shiny side facing down. What I am just going to do is I'm just going to move it down slightly, and I'm going to go in, and then I'm going to go in with my organza bag, and then I'm going to go in with my shim, and then we're going to then sit that on the top, and then we're just going to slide that one out. We're then just going to then pass that one through. So we're now trapping the 2 layers of that organza bag there. Irrelevant of what material bag you're doing, I would always put in a shim in between. Where you've got 2 layers together, I would always put in a shim, just to be on the safe side. But what we can then do is take that off, lift that one off. I'm going to pop that back in, and then let's take that one off. So I need a little bit longer. So I just need a little bit longer because it's not quite captured in there. So what do? We'll go back to it. We stay on low, we're on green. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to go up 5 seconds. Sometimes you would think the thinner and the delicate the material, the less time. But in actual fact, you need a lot more as well. So let's just go back in. Let's just take my foil again. So let's just trim to roughly the size that we need. So we're on 15. Let's just pop that in. And then what I'm also going to do this time is let's just put in, I'm just going to put in an extra shim, 2 little offcuts there. And then what we can do is we can do that countdown. So we've gone from 10 up to 15. What we can then do is take that one out the way, and then we can go in with our foil. So I'm going to do the opposite side now, like so. And I'm just going to, I don't want to waste another one. That's why I'm just going to use that back side of it. And then we're just going to place that on.
So you just put an extra shim in?
I've just put an extra one in. So I've upped the temperature ever so slightly. I've not upped the temperature, I've upped the time ever so slightly. You don't change the temperature. That's then going to go through, so that extra little bit of time, with that little bit extra pressure that's really pushing those kind of the fibres of the organza bag. We can then lift that one up, and then we're just going to take that one off.
Oh, what a difference.
And then we've got, now again, with this one, similar to your vellum, that's not overfoiling, that's just to do with the material static. So we're just going to go around. I'm not going to then rub the whole lot out. You can see that that just comes away all the way around the side. Take that one off. That's then come completely away. I'll do the other side in a minute because I want to show you a few other
How gorgeous
things.
is that?
So if I then just put the cleaner side, just to give you that little indication, and in actual fact, it's going to bug me while we're live. Let's just take that away, because I don't want you to think that's over foiling. So we're just taking that one away. So there we go, 15 seconds, and put in 2 shims. And then you've got a lovely foiled organza bag. That could be a monogram if you wanted it to be, or another icon, which would look fab. But let's go straight in. Let's go in with our lovebirds here, or love doves. And let's go in with some leather. So what we're going to do within this one, I'm going to come down. I'm just going to keep it at 13 seconds. I'm only coming down a few seconds. And then we're going to go on low, as we always are. Green, which means we are good to go. Let's do it that way, face on. Don't need shims for this one. Pop that on and then press start. And I know I've said it a couple of times already, but I very rarely do I foil anything like your leather or your fabric. What I foil is acetate, and it's vellum, and it's mirror card, it's Centura Pearl, it's black, it's craft, it's white card, it's watercolour card. All of them is what I do most of the time. But I didn't want to not do a show, or do a show and not do some different materials. So we're going to go in with that leather. We're just then going to set our carbon plate over the top. We're then just going to run that one through. Now, of course, if you are doing leather, your piece would be bigger. I'm just skimping on the leather that I've got, but it's to show you. And then what we can do is take that one off, and then I'm just going to come along, and then we've got that cool effect. Now, that's normal in the middle, so don't worry. Onto your leather with the love doves, or love birds, whichever way that you want to call them. So if that was a bigger piece of leather or fabric, then you could come along and do the stitching around it if you want to. You can do the stitching, a little bit of applique. You could do that onto that Hessian bag if you wanted to. So you've got lots and lots and lots of different options that you can do. That last thing I do want to show you, I don't know if you're wanting to take a little break or if there's comments, Corrine, because I'll do that.
Yeah,
let's do the comments and then I'll do the background.
Couple of comments. So, diamond pressed dies, will these work?
Diamond, as long as they are standard wafer thin dies, then they will work.
Okay.
As long as they are standard
okay.
wafer thin.
And you said you were going to mention this. Janine's reminded us, what regular type dies do you not want us to use beside double-sided dies?
Right, so yeah, really good question.
We said we were going to do that, weren't we?
Really good question, yeah. So the ones not to use are your multi-craft dies. Your multimedia dies.
So like you've got your brassy gold coloured ones.
Your brassy gold ones, yeah, because
too thick.
Just too thick. You've got the actual base of the die is thick, and then the actual die cut piece, the actual die cut blade is thick as well. So you've got extra thickness there. So I wouldn't use them. Don't use double-sided dies, because therefore the opposite side of the die is just going to cut straight into your hot plate. And then the other one, most of you won't really, some of you might have them, most of you won't though, is an older machine that was called the Todo. You can't use those ones because they are, although they are papercraft dies, they were part of a foiling system as well, where you could cut and you could foil, and they're a little bit too deeper as well, so you can't use them. So double-sided dies, multi-craft dies, Todo dies, I think it was just the 3 of them. As long as they are wafer thin dies, us, Hunky Dory, Tattered Lace, Spellbinders, Diamond Press, as long as they're wafer thin, absolutely. Absolutely
perfect. And as Craig said, any of your foils that are heat set foils would be brilliant. Kathleen says, I am loving this show. I can't tell you how long my foil press sat in the box. Too long. Any time is too long. Ginny says, wow, that means I have a huge library of dies that I could foil, but I've not taken it out of the box yet. I've had it for 3 years now. So scared, but today is the day. Brilliant, Janine. Send us a picture of what you foil. Send us a picture of what you foil. That would be absolutely brilliant. I love that. Yeah, we asked that about watercolour backgrounds. Yeah, that one about the foil press onto watercolour backgrounds. As long as it's perfectly dry, you've just got to make sure it's bone dry again, haven't you?
Yeah,
so, yeah,
absolutely.
that'd be perfect.
Yep, completely.
Excellent.
Yeah. The good thing with that is you can do your backgrounds, let it dry, then foil, or do the resist effect that I showed you earlier.
Brilliant. Right, what are you going to show us next?
Right, so let's do that. So again, this is technically is the waste technique, but then it could be lots of little offcuts that you've got here. Now, I have quite literally just done a load of different colours. So they're not necessarily colours you would put together, but I've done them anyway. So I've got, I think there's a red there. Now, you don't have to have them so that they are matching right up. What you can then just do is then come along and just overlap them. That's not going to matter whatsoever. So I am just taking, I think I've got, not that you would tend to have gold and silver together, but I've got gold, I've got silver, I've got some red here. And then what we can do is then lay that one on. And then we could come along and let's
I love
do
having little gaps as well.
another one. Yeah. Now you can just go in and infill if you want to, but if you then leave the gaps like you say, it can look quite effective. I don't really know what colour I'm putting what next to what one, so it's going to be a little bit of a surprise. And the chances are some of yours are going to be thicker, some are going to be thinner. I've kind of roughly cut mine the same.
So although you're doing this over the waste, you could actually do, if you've got a background dye, you could lay these down over your background dye like this, couldn't
absolutely,
you?
Absolutely,
That
yeah.
would look brilliant over your background dye.
Yeah, really, really cool that would look. Really, really smart. Just get creative. It could be a simple die-cut oval, Corrine. Die-cut the oval first and then lay that oval over the top. Or, of course, you can then do this onto your cardstock and then come along and then die-cut afterwards. So we've got our foil, so it's shiny side facing down. Now remember, for the waste technique, we're needing to go in with 1 minute 10. I don't know why I've gone right up further there. So this is what I'm going to foil onto. We need our 2 shims, 300 GSM, 2 of them. And then we need our magnetic. And then we also need our top plate here, our carbon plate. And then we're going to do the countdown. And they're strips, but of course they could just be different. And quite literally, they could be offcuts.
Yeah, absolutely
Offcuts.
brilliant. I love the fact that so many people have been saying today's the day they're going to get their Foilpress out of the box. Absolutely brilliant. We all do it. I'm as guilty as the next, and I'm sure Craig is, that we watch the TV, we buy craft products, they go in our craft room, everyday life takes over. We just get caught up with life and then never come out. Then the longer you go, you're like, oh, I saw Corrine demonstrate that 6 months ago and I can't remember now. Oh, I'll leave it. And then another 6 months passes.
Yeah.
And, you know, we do that, whether it's the flower forming like I did yesterday, and so many of you got flower forming yesterday, whether it's a foiling today, and we've had the sparkle pens with Sheena, stamping tomorrow. How many of you don't stamp as much as you should? It's absolutely brilliant. But I'm really, really chuffed that we are getting so many people saying it's coming out of the box today.
Excellent. Good.
Watch these shows, rewind them, and just, you know, go with it. So there we go.
Yeah, and I do exactly the same, not even with our products, but I buy a load of hunky-dory collections and then never get round to be using them, you know what I mean? Because we end up getting distracted with other things or with work here. So we're beeping to let us know we're good to go. So we're going to slide that one out, and then we're just going to then slide that one in. Just hold that in while it grips in.
So effectively, what we're doing now, if we want to take it back to basics, we are over-foiling.
We are over. It's exactly what we are doing.
Over-foiling onto our cardstock.
It's exactly what we are doing.
A deliberate overfoil.
So what we can then do is then take all of that off. Let's take this one off here. Now, some of it we're going to be able to then just peel off at the edge, but let's just go in. That's where it doesn't matter if it overlaps. All that you're going to do is you're just going to then peel all these bits off, like so. Let's take that one off. Let's take that one off. Let's take all of them off. That, all the way along. And other than the overhangs, I've got no waste of foil on the back. I think that one's off. Is that one off? Not sure if that, I think, oh no, there we go, there's that one, and that one.
Can you imagine now if you started die cutting into that? That would look brilliant, wouldn't it?
It'd look smart, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And then again, go with that rustic feel, it looks good, but then let's just come along and then just roughly trim it. all the way round, like so, like that. Let's even it up. So let's say 6 1/4 by, let's just say 4 3/4, just so we can even it up. And then let's just do a little bit of black, just to really make that pop in front of your eyes, although it could be gold, it could be red. But if we put the black on, it just frames it ever so slightly. What did I say there? 6 1/4. So let's give it a little bit into here.
There is a question that I've missed. I'll come back to it in 1 minute.
No problem. Let me just give it a little slither, like so there. And then let's just add that on while we're here. And then all you need to do is maybe a coloured stamp design on the front. Maybe it's going to be one of those icons, whatever it is, but you've now created your own background using scraps of the foil. How fab is that? Even just a banner, sentiment, whatever it is, you've got that. Actually, that'd be good for like a teenager or someone's birthday.
Yeah, perfect. I missed this question, and I'm so sorry, Linda. It said, Craig, if using multi-purpose foil,
Yeah.
How many seconds for waste technique on? If you're then going to put it onto cardstock, because you've done your multi-purpose, and you now just got the waste.
So in an ideal world, do everything with paper craft foil. So even although acetate's not paper, ribbon's not paper, you know, vellum's not, well, kind of is in a way. But what I'm trying to say is predominantly everything that you use when it comes to foiling, use paper craft foil. That's where you're going to get the best result. I only ever use multi-surface foil, multi-purpose foil for real leather. And now I can count on one hand how many times I've used multi-purpose. It's to do with one of the ingredients in the foil, so it suits your leather. Although it says multi-purpose, or multi-surface, as I say, you're really only going to be using that for things such as real leather. You can use it for paper crafts, but you really need to ramp up the time. You know, sometimes you actually even have to double the time compared to paper craft foil. So I would highly recommend stock up on your paper craft foil. That's what you're going to be using for your card, etc., etc. If all you've got is multi-surface and you want to use that, you're going to have to at least try and double the time that it's on your foil press for. So I would always recommend paper craft foil.
Perfect, perfect. Kathleen was saying, random question, can you use the flower forming foam for other things besides flower forming? Probably wouldn't. I can't think what you would. I mean, obviously asking on the back of yesterday's.
Yeah.
It's not thick enough to make stamps out of. It's very, very versatile, very, very pliable. It's been made for flower forming. I'm struggling to think what else you would want to use it for. No, I'm not sure.
While you're on that subject, Corrine, please don't use your foil press for flower forming.
It'll melt it.
Yeah, so between that and also flower forming, you're going to be doing quite a few at a time potentially. That continuous heat without it doing anything then is going to damage your foil press. And I hate to be really, really serious, but if you use it for flower forming and it damages, it can actually void your warranty. Okay, and Leanne said it herself, because you're using something that has not been tried and tested for, it's not been designed for, you've got that continuous heat that's going around and it's doing nothing other than damaging the circuit board that's inside your foil press. So please don't use it for anything like that. Keep it with foiling and then your flower forming, your home irons, etc., etc.
Basically, long and short, Stephen said his foil press machine sat in the drawer for too long, but he's watched the show now, so he's going to have a go with it using his new Gemini 2. I think the Gemini 2 is brilliant. Kathy Wright says, I love my foil press. Last year I made 75 Christmas cards with the foil press. There you go. Cindy Condy says, wow, I love this and no waste. Janine says, Craig, if you were having trouble foiling a die, could you not foil on the cardstock and then just cut it out of that?
Of course you can, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely, of course, no problem.
There we go. Okay, I'm going to quickly show you the weekend wonder, because we've not got very many minutes left. This show has whizzed past. Actually feels like, I feel like just an hour rather than 2 hours. Weekend wonder. This is a US only deal, been so popular. in the UK, these sold out on the day of launch. 9 different 50ml pots of your Spectrum Noir glitter paste. Absolutely amazing. Brilliant paste. Use it, scrape it off, put it back in a pot. Don't waste it. Blend your colours. Absolutely amazing. 9 pots. You're going to get, instead of being $80.55, you're going to get them for $60 today, saving $20.55. You're going to save an extra $12 if you're platinum. You're saving $32.55. Your price is $48 if you are platinum. It is absolutely brilliant. And then you can be making amazing, amazing projects just like that. Right, now we are going to have a quick look at Craig's 2 cards. Oh, I don't know where this is going to go.
I'm not going to put the materials in, I'll just do the 2 finished cards.
I don't know where this is going to go. 2 finished cards. 1 or 2.
Sorry,
Craig's
George.
going to tell you which is which, and you've got to vote, and then they can go into tonight. Right. Which one's 1, which one's 2?
So we've got number 1 here, where we combine quite a few techniques in this one, with your card as well as your drop shadow, as well as the waste, as well as the vellum, as well as the monograms. So number 1. And then number 2, it's just using your normal day-to-day circle nesting dies to create a framework. And then we went around with the stag and we foiled that as normal to create a 3D topper within the middle. So that's 2. 1 or 2.
1 or... Oh, George, you're wrong. I'm just telling you, George. George, you are wrong. George is wrong. Yeah. Me and Lily, we've got this right. Right. Okay. Craig's got another couple of technique-y things to show you, yeah, let's go on those and see where we get to while they're counting up those votes.
Right, let's have a look at a foil and cut die, because we've not done it within this show here. We did do it, can't even remember if we'd done it this morning, but we've definitely done it yesterday.
No, we didn't.
No, it was yesterday, wasn't it? So I'm going to go, and this is the Providence frame. So I'm just going to cut this one to size. And the reason I want to kind of squeeze this one in, there you go, Craig, you've just cut that a little bit too short. I could have then just done a bit of patchwork, but let's just go straight in. Lost my train of thought there. What was I saying there? Yes, the reason I wanted to show this is because it's a different plate configuration, with it being a foil and cut. So what we're going to need, for something like this, we're at 45 seconds. We're going to need the metal shim that comes with the foil press. And then what we're going to do is you're going to put that on first. We're then going to put our foil and cut die, which is your dark grey, and then we're going to press start. Now, what you'll also need for this technique is your metal shim from your junior, or if you're using the larger platform, then of course you can use your larger metal shim. Now, exactly the same as the magnetic shim, I have 1 each just for my foil press. Now, you can absolutely use the same one for die cutting and foiling. I just prefer to have 1 separate so that I'm not having to then, change them about each time. I've got them in my foil press bag, and then I have got my other ones that stay with my plates. So let's go on with Centura Pearl. Let's go in with the red shimmer. So what we can then do is that finishes the countdown. We're going to layer up as normal. So, oh, look at that, Craig, you wally. Let's just do patchwork. So let's just put a little bit here. So
that won't show. I don't reckon that'll show.
No, it's not going to show. It's not going to show. It's just me being pernickety, where I prefer it to be 1 full bit, but it's not going to show. So I've got my cardstock. I've then got my metal shim, and then I have got my top plate. So we're just going to slide that one out. And then I am just going to hold and grip that, only because my metal shim has been well used. But once it does its thing, we're just going to let it through. That's where I store a lot of my foils, by the way. And that's not all of them. I've got backup at home. So we've got that one, we've got that one. So what's going to then happen is your outer is going to then cut, which is still going to give you a lovely framework if you wanted to. But then what you've got is your inner aperture, which is then going to cut out, and then you've got them to use if you want to. But of course we are wanting to have a look at the actual foil and cut. So we're just going to grab the corner. You ready for this one?
Oh, wow. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous?
So the outer edge is cut, the inner aperture has cut, and then you've got all that beautiful foiling all the way round. So then that could be, again, monogram, that could be a little photo, that could be some of the flowers you've created from watching yourself yesterday, Corrine. It could be so many things, you know, it could, you know, literally you could foil it another piece and it could be the lovebirds at the back if you wanted it to. It could be a shaker if you wanted to. There's so many ways in which you can use these ones, and I just wanted to show you that's how you're going to be using the foil and cut stamps. And it doesn't matter whether it's something like this, whether it's an icon. If it's a foil and cut, it's that foil press metal plate, and then it is your metal shim from your Gemini Junior.
I just had a thought. You were saying about shaker card. You know when we foil directly onto paper,
yes,
card,
yes.
So you know a lot of mirror cards single-sided.
Yes.
But we like cutting our sequins out of that, and they
Yeah.
flip. So could I foil one side, flip it, foil the other, and then die cut my sequins out?
Absolutely.
Double-sided foiled sequins.
There you go.
It just came to me. As you said shaker, I was like, ooh.
Yes.
And then I could use the same foil that I've used on the outside so my sequins match.
Of course you can.
There you go. There you go. All those ideas there. If we haven't convinced you today and yesterday that you need a foil press, I don't think it clearly isn't a craft for you. I mean, it's as simple as that.
No.
Absolutely. Right, now, demo of the show.
Yes.
And demo of the show, George, you're wrong. It's demo 1.
Demo number 1.
Lily and I thought it was going to be
So
1.
again, briefly, so that was foiled on a black card, white card. We've taken the waste from one, overset it onto the other one, and done the waste technique. We foiled the monogram onto some vellum, and then we've just overlaid that and created a lovely little card front or invitation, whatever you want. But quite, 4 techniques in what? 5 techniques in one?
Yep. Okay, now we're doing a Craft Vault show next at 6 p.m. Loads of deals. I've just been looking at my list, and do you know what?
What?
The weakest deal is buy one get one free.
You're joking.
There is nothing less than buy one get one free. There's a couple of 50%, there's 54%, 51%, but then they go up to buy one get 3 free.
What?
There you go. So those deals. It is a US only show. We are nearly ready to reopen our UK warehouse, and then there'll be loads of deals back for you UK people. So many big thanks for you being patient with us. We will have the warehouse back open in the UK next week, so that's brilliant. We won't be doing demos in the next show as such, but we will do your vote for card of the day.
Perfect.
Yes, you've got 2. Oh, this is going to be a tough one. Oh, I don't know where this is going to go. Right, okay. So thank you for joining us, and thank you so much for your interaction.
Thank you.
Since we went with this yesterday at 2 p.m, your interaction has been immense. I've never seen such interaction. And our poor Grace, who's been on social, she's hardly been able to keep up to it. She's been saying, I've never had to do so many comments.
Thank you,
it's been
everyone.
brilliant. This is what we want. We want to give you the shows that work for you, and I think this has proved it so much. We had loads of comments yesterday with the flower forming, but the foil press has gone off the scale. It's been absolutely
Corrine,
amazing.
can I just say, have you ever seen me finish a show?
Oh my goodness me.
It's giving me stress as well.
Right, it'll be fine. 5 minutes and you'll have it sorted. You'll have it. Bless you. Grace is saying 2 right, and she's saying thank you. Right, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your interaction, and it's been absolutely brilliant. Make sure you get your foil press while we've still got a few left. Don't forget your weekend wonder. But if you want some more amazing deals, some that we've managed to find out from the back of our US warehouse, then please come back and join myself and Craig with Lily and the rest of the team. They'll all be here. George isn't, we've locked the door. George can't go home. We'll see you back here at 6 p.m. UK time, 1 p.m. Eastern, and it's still only 10 a.m. on the Pacific time. So yeah, come back and join us, and we'll see you later. Bye for now.
Toodles.